Hello, welcome to our podcast. This is the first episode. We're basically going to tell you a bit about what we're going to talk about, a bit about ourselves, and how we got into fitness. This is Sam. My name's Louis. Sam, do you want to introduce yourself and how you got into fitness?
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a PT and an online coach. I got into fitness when I was about 18, which I think is kind of the age that a lot of people get into it. I started the gym because I wanted a big bum, to put it blankly.
Mhm.
Um, which again, I think as a girl, that's kind of like what you see on social media and what you think you should be doing in the gym because it's literally all any female fitness influencer posts is my glute workout and look how big my bum is. So yeah. And then I set up a fitness account in lockdown and I realized that the information that I was putting out, I wasn't, qualified to put out there. So I was like, oh, I'll do like my level two and my level three, and then I can actually put informed content on social media and not spread misinformation or like just feel a bit more educated on the topic. And then from there, I got a job in a gym just as like a fitness instructor working on the desk. And then I got into powerlifting, which was much nicer than just trying to get a big bum because I was like actually appreciating what my body could do rather than what I looked like.
Nice. When you say you started your fitness Instagram account or social media pages, why did you decide to start those in the first place?
I think just like lockdown boredom, like there was like nothing to do in lockdown. All I did was like I'd wake up, I'd go and like do a little workout session in my living room and then go upstairs, do my uni lectures or whatever. So I just thought like if I'm gonna do it, now is a good time because I don't have to do like scary filming like in the middle of a gym. Like I can get comfortable with like filming myself when I'm just like in my own home.
Yeah, fair enough. And also, when you say you were obviously doing your uni lectures as well, obviously you're at university at the same time, how was it trying to balance university whilst also going to the gym and also doing the social media side as well?
I think like university is very stressful. So if you've got something that you can like release that stress with, I guess, like the gym is like headspace for like an hour to 2 hours. That's just you. Like there's no other stresses that you should be bringing into the gym, or you should be trying your best not to, because that is just you time, I think. So I didn't find it too hard. I think when it was like around the time of like exams and coursework and stuff, then the social media kind of like flopped off a little bit because it is just hard to like keep up with everything. But it definitely was like a safe place away from the stress of uni.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's a good way to use the gym and the way it
Mm.
should be used because I think a lot of people overthink it. So, for example, people who don't go to the gym, I think, oh, it's this scary place and I have to be doing everything right straight away, otherwise people are going to judge me, but it's not because, I mean, at the end of the day, anything's better than nothing, and it is something different and something that once you start to enjoy, does definitely help with stress and just like adds an extra bit of excitement to your life.
Yeah, I mean, I look back at some of the videos that I was posting on social media and I was just like, Sam, what the hell are you doing? Like, that is not how you're supposed to do that exercise. So if you're worried about like a couple of people seeing you in the gym, I posted it on social media for everyone to see. So
Yeah,
you're
true.
fine.
I
No
mean,
one should judge me.
whenever, like the first time I ever went to a gym, um, I, s- I, I went with my friend who knew what he was doing. Well, he said he knew what he was doing, but he didn't. He had been going for about half a year, 6 months. So, and I think we were doing tricep extensions, doing it completely wrong.
Mm.
Um, and busy gym, I was like embarrassed anyway, even though I thought I was doing it right. And then this massive Russian guy came over and started telling us we were doing it wrong. It showed us how to do it. He came across as like aggressive in a way, but he wasn't aggressive. He was just trying to help. And in the moment, I was so embarrassed. I was like, "Oh my God, everyone's looking at me," and but they weren't obviously. And because he came over and he was being nice and helping, it like taught me something and meant that I could learn how to do that properly. And a lot of people think like, oh, they're going to see the big scary guy in the gym and they're going to like judge them and tell them they're doing stuff wrong and they're like, oh, scary. But a lot of the time, people like that are the people that want to help because everyone starts in the same position, not knowing what to do.
Yeah, that big scary guy probably had another big scary guy come up to him when he was like a little baby and tell him that he was doing it wrong. So
Yeah.
it's like you have to learn from somewhere. And if you don't take advice from people that like kind of know a little bit more, then you're probably not going to progress as much because you're not going to learn and you're not going to get that experience.
Yeah, exactly. And when you started powerlifting, why did you get into that? And why did you choose to start doing that? And why did you enjoy that more than what you were doing before?
So it's a hard question because I don't think there's an exact reason that I started powerlifting. So like there was like some PTs that I knew like at the old gym that I was at. So I was at a gym group and they kind of like wanted to have me as a client. And I'd always said like I'd only get a coach if I ever went into anything like powerlifting, which was kind of like a stupid mindset anyway, because I probably would have really benefited from a coach or a PT just showing me how to do stuff. But when I started working at the gym, I met the manager who's now my partner. Um, but he did powerlifting and he was like, oh, if you're interested in it, like, do you want to do a couple of sessions with me? So I did, and I really enjoyed them. Then he just put me in touch with his coach, and then I've been with my coach for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
So I think I enjoyed it more because it pushes you more, especially having someone that does the programming for you, someone that you like talk to every week and like constant contact. Like it really does just like shape the whole experience. Like I feel like an actual athlete now as opposed to like just mindlessly going into the gym, not really sure what I'm doing, but trying to do it anyway.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So like when even if you know what you're doing in the gym and you've been there for a long time, it's good to have like a second opinion from
Yeah.
someone. So someone to one, keep you accountable, to tell you what to do so that you're not second guessing yourself all the time. Because if you're constantly chopping and changing things, then even if you know what to do, a lot of the time you think, oh, this isn't working. Even if it is working, you don't see results straight away. And you're like, oh, well, obviously not working. And then change things when obviously that's the wrong thing to do. You need to like stay consistent over time. And having that person there to help you does definitely help.
Yeah, I think as well, like what I said earlier about the gym being like your mindset space, is it's like I don't want to go into the gym and like be figuring out what I need to do, what weight I need to do, like how many reps and stuff. So just having a program that I can just open up and I'm like, cool, this is already written for me. I just need to hit the numbers instead of like thinking about everything else. It just makes like everything so much more like seamless and just makes my session like more focused on actually doing the work rather than thinking about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a bit like that as well. It's like I think it's more the numbers. So it's like if you know you've got a number to beat from last time or you need to hit a certain number, then you can just focus on that rather than sort of like guessing and just sort of like winging it. Having something to work towards or something to beat is good because it sort of almost like it helps with motivation as well. Getting to a certain point when you know you need to get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the work that I do with my coach and that I do with a lot of my clients actually is like RPE based.
Mhm.
So like the 1 to 10 scale rating of like how hard something is. So like at the beginning of like a block, you might do like RP6 and then gradually get harder. But I think the good thing about RPE, especially as a woman, knowing that like my lifts changed depending on where I am in my cycle, I can work to the RPE instead of like, oh, I didn't hit the same number as last week and like feeling really like down about it. But it's okay because I've hit the RPE. So like
Yeah.
I'm still working to my program.
Mhm. That's something that really interests me about powerlifting because it's completely different to like any type of training in the sense that rather than like any other type of training, if you want to get better, you just go as hard as you can every session and improve
Mm,
that way. Whereas powerlifting, it's almost more recovery focused because you
yeah.
have those sessions where you're hitting like RP5, which probably in the moment feels like you're not doing anything and it's not beneficial, but it is, and it's like it helps that long-term progress.
Yeah, I think it's like in like bodybuilding a lot, you'll have like deloads and stuff. Whereas like in powerlifting, your like RP5 session is essentially like your deload session.
Yeah.
You will tend to have like all of your easy days in 1 week. Sometimes it might be different. Like I've had blocks where I've had like RP8 deadlifts, but then like an RP5 squat, which is a bit confusing. But it does just like because by the end of the block you're absolutely knackered. Like after 5 weeks of just gradually pushing yourself, you just need a break.
Mhm.
Then you'll gradually find that what was once an RP5 like may not be like one of your warm-ups, and what was an RP8 would be your RP5. So it's like seeing that progression as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So those are lower RPE sessions normally come at the end of a block, right?
Week one.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. So you get to the end of a block where it's like it's gradually increasing, then you reset almost
Yeah.
back to the lower RPEs, but then obviously it'll be usually a higher weight, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So you're still like progressing and like
Mhm.
your muscles are still adapting to like a different load at a different like strenuous level, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Louis, what about you? How did you get started in fitness and what do you do now?
So at the moment, I am an online coach and personal trainer. The reason I got into fitness was just after lockdown. One of my friends was sort of bugging me, telling me to go to the gym with him because he didn't have anyone to go with. He used to go before lockdown. And then everyone who used to go with stopped going over lockdown. They got lazy, stopped going. So he was like asking me. He asked me for about 2 weeks straight. And then one day I was like, oh, fine, whatever, I'll go. Just to shut him up, basically. And yeah, so that's how I started going. It was really scary because I've always been like really skinny. So when I first started going, I was 50 kilos. And if I can find a picture, I'll pop it up on the screen. But I was like a skeleton, like super skinny. And I think it was almost I felt embarrassed lifting weights because I felt like, oh, I'm skinny, I shouldn't be doing this. When in
Mm,
reality, that's the opposite. Like you're always going
yeah.
to be skinny if you don't do things like that. So um realistically looking back, that was like not stupid, but I shouldn't have been worried about it. I mean, no one should be worried about it really because everyone's there for the same reason, to better themselves. So, but yeah, so I started doing that. He then stopped going to the gym. He got lazy, stopped going to the gym. It was just me. And I just decided, well, I'm not with him anymore. I was kind of following his guidance. Even though looking back, he didn't know what he was doing either. I just assumed he did because he already went to the gym. So I was like, okay, I need to sort of research and learn how to do this myself. So that's when the sort of thought process of learning and trying to better my knowledge around the gym started happening. And then at the same time, I had just gone into my second year of college. I've always been someone who isn't good academically. So I hated college, and it was one of those things where at college you don't have to go. So if you don't go, you don't get in trouble. And I was
Mm,
just having days where, like weeks where I just wouldn't go and not turn up because I was like, well, what's the point? I hate it, and then not going. And then I kind of realized I need to do something with my life. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go to college. I'm not going to be able to drop out because my mum, whatever, my mum, dad, they'll be like, oh no, wouldn't let it happen. So I was like, okay, I need to do something so that if I do that, they'll understand. So I was like, okay, what do I like doing? Going to the gym. I also like learning about the gym. So let's do the PT qualifications. So I done that. Um, Decided to tell my mum that I wasn't going to college anymore and doing that, and she took it worse than I expected. I thought she'd be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's fine. You're still doing something, whatever." She was like, "No, finish your A levels." I was like, "Well, I'm not turning up anyway, so I'm not going to pass them anyway. It's pointless, waste of time." Still somehow passed one of my A levels, even though I didn't do the exam, just on the coursework. So I don't know how that happened. Yeah, anyway.
which one was that?
Media.
Fair enough.
It's like 50-50 exam based and coursework based, and I must have just done really well in the coursework. So,
Mm, fair
Um,
enough.
yeah, so I that happened. Um, Whereas my dad was the opposite. He was kind of like, yeah, do what you want, because he's always been like that as well. He dropped out of college as well, and he's always been like working for himself and doing his own thing. So he's like more understanding of it, whereas my mum's sort of like, no, go to college, go to university, get a job, that type of person. So he was really supportive of it, and he actually paid my deposit to do it because at the time I didn't have a job. I was just at college, so I couldn't really afford it. I think it was something like a £300 deposit. So
Mm,
he paid that for me. He was like, if you drop out and do this, I'll pay the deposit. You have to get a job and then pay for it, the rest of it, basically. So I was like, yeah, fair enough. So he done that. And I probably took longer than I should have doing the qualifications. Took me just under a year. They say it's meant to take like 3 to 4 months, I think, but I reckon it takes longer for most people because I don't know if it's just me and my dyslexic brain, but that's how long it took. Then I obviously qualified. When I finished my level two, actually, that's when I then started working at the gym with you. Um, and then, well, actually, I think that was a bit of a while after I finished my level two because had nearly finished my level three by the time I was doing that. Um, so yeah, I then finished my level three, started PTing, um, and the online stuff as well. Realized I enjoy the online stuff a lot more than the in-person PT, although I enjoy both. There's something about the fact that I can like the more variables I like, if that makes sense. So like with the online stuff, I like having full control and it's I'm able to help people more.
Yeah.
Whereas in-person PT is great for people who are beginning in the gym, so newbies to the gym and don't know what they're doing and sort of learning the basics. Whereas it's nice having someone as well who is fairly advanced in the gym and knows what to do, but then can make that progress and you can get a really good uh, amount of progress done with the online stuff. And also, I just enjoy like programming, seeing results, and just like helping people that way. So then I started to push a bit more doing that, and that's sort of like my main source of income now, doing the online stuff. Which is good because that's what I want. And then I was still training, but sort of stopped training as much, which was bad, and then realized that I need to do something. So I was literally just weight training, but like not really having a goal, not staying consistent, and not eating properly either. I got to a point where I was the heaviest I'd ever been. I was 71 kilos, which for reference, I'm 5'5", so I'm short. So 70 on my frame is all right. Um, and then I went away for a month, 5 weeks, and I lost 10 kilos in that 5 weeks just from not training and not eating anything because
Mm,
I don't have a big appetite. If I like, I'll have days where if I wasn't ensuring that I was eating, I would eat nothing and feel full.
I'm
I
the
don't know what it
same.
is. It's really annoying. But yeah, that's how it is. So then I was like, okay, I need to do something. I'm not training properly or anything. I need to have like a goal. So then I was like, okay, what can I do that is different? And whilst I was away, I started running because basically I didn't want to buy a day pass at a gym every day because it's expensive. And I really enjoyed that. So I got back and I was like, right, fine, let's do a marathon. So I started training for that, then decided to hurt my knee last week, which was great. I mean, I've had knee issues for about 5 or 6 years now, which were never it never got sorted in the first place. And I actually had a doctor's appointment today, and they were like, "Yeah, we're not really sure what you've done." But and they basically said, "Do these things. If it's not better in 8 weeks, come back and we'll do some, I can't remember what it's called now, but a type of therapy on it."
Mm,
And they were like, "Yeah, it will be painful, but it will fix it." And I was like, "Okay, well, it's been painful for 5 years, so whatever." But I'm sure that's going to end up happening because it's been 5 years without getting better. So I don't know why it would get better in the next 8 weeks. But it's annoying because now I can't run, but
yeah.
hopefully it gets better. But it means now I have to like force myself to do something else. So I think the plan at the moment is just get heavier again because I'm still 61 kilos, which I haven't put on any weight since I got back because I've been running and not really trying to bulk up. So that's where I'm at the moment.
So how's your mum now that you're like getting income from it? You've done it. Is she like, oh, okay, fair enough,
Mm,
this is what you should have done?
I mean, she's not really like my mum's someone who's quite like I don't think emotionless is the right word, but she won't say well done.
Yeah.
She'll ask me questions and she's like, yeah, fine. But she's not like, oh yeah, well done. I was wrong. She will never admit she's wrong. Um, but I think she probably like deep down knows, oh yeah, it's the right thing. And I've always been someone who enjoys like the only thing I was ever good at school was sport,
Mm,
nothing else. Even like the theory side of everything, I was always good at. even though I could never do exams or anything like that. If I had an exam related to sport, I would be fine. Like I got a distinction star in sports studies, which is like BTEC sport, they call it sports studies now. Um, but anything else, like the highest grade I got in anything else, it was a 4, which is I don't know what that's equivalent to in the old grades. I think it's like a low C.
Yeah, I think it's a low C.
Yeah, so yeah, anything sport related, she knows I've always enjoyed, and
Mm.
she probably knew it was something that I was going to end up doing anyway. But I think it's just like for her, probably scary the fact that I wasn't doing like the normal thing.
Yeah, like the normal thing that's like pushed by schools and stuff that you should do.
Yeah,
Should,
exactly.
in quotation marks.
Yeah, although I found out when I left college, I had like a tutor at college.
Mm.
I told her, I was like, okay, yeah, so I'm not going to go anymore. So I had to sign these forms saying I wasn't going to basically go anymore. And she said, "Oh, what are you doing? How come you're leaving?" I said, "Oh, I'm going to do these qualifications." And she goes, we do a course here to get those qualifications." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
great." So I've just paid all this money to do these qualifications and I could have done them for free.
yeah, yeah. I think that's what Kirsten's done.
Yeah,
She's
it
got,
is. Yeah.
yeah. No, but my mom was very similar
Mhm.
in the sense that, like, because I've got my degrees, so I've got my bachelor's in psychology and neuroscience, and then I've got my master's in clinical psychology and mental health. It's a
Mhm.
mouthful for some reason. Um, and like I always wanted to go into mental health when I was a kid, but only because I wanted to help people, like in whatever way I could. So then when like PTing came along and I was like, oh, this is actually a bit more fun and I can still help people, I'll go with that. And she did not like that. She was like, you've got your degrees, you've always wanted to be a psychologist. Like, why aren't you doing that? And now that I'm like doing it a bit more, she's a bit more like, okay, like she's
She
eased
understands
off
its
all of the
worth.
nagging. And yeah, but I'm such a big advocate for like just do what makes you happy.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely.
I say it to people a lot in the gym, like when new people come in for inductions and stuff, and they're like, oh, I might just do cardio or might just do this. And I'm like, just do what you enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to stick to it. And that's when people fail, and not fail, but that's when they drop out and then like keep like yo-yoing back to the gym, and it's because they're not enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think what you said then about like doing what you enjoy is it's like a lot of people don't understand that until it's too late. So a lot
Yeah.
of people will get to like 30, their 30s and 40s, have like kids and a mortgage to pay, and then they're stuck in a job that they don't like doing or stuck doing something they hate
Mm.
because they didn't like take a risk, if that makes sense, when they were younger. Whereas like
Yeah.
now, for example, like me and you, we're both fairly young, so we can like if all of a sudden we lose all our clients, we make no money anymore, we just get a job. Like it's fine. It's not the end of the world. The worst that can happen is we just have to get a job somewhere else.
Yeah,
Especially
exactly.
like you with your degree as well. It's you've got something to fall
I've
back
got a
on.
master's to fall back on.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's just there.
Just done it for fun.
Yeah, life's too short to do something that you're not enjoying.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for today. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode, and I will see you all next time.